Part 85. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 841. Chapter 841 Ambiguous Feelings. Wrongly was absent-minded at work and sent a text message asking Chinwan how the child was doing. Chinwan got together with his family and put his phone upstairs. He didn't see Wrongly's text message. When Wrongly signed the financial documents, he specially said with difficulty, "Boss, your signature is wrong." He came back to his senses and looked at the document. It was Chinwan's name that was signed. Wrongly took it over calmly and put it into the shredder nearby. "Print another copy." The special assistant quickly went out and asked for another document to be printed. Wrongly concentrated on it and signed his name. Will she bring the child back? Perhaps it's up to the Chen family to change their mind. There are only 3 days of vacation in total. Can he get 1 day? Even if it's for the baby's sake, she won't change her mind, right? Wrongly took a look at the architectural drawings of the Chen family and thought to himself that the babies and the 2-month-old sister-in-law would not be able to live together even if they lived in the Chen family. After all, the mother-in-law was an outsider and could not be squeezed into one room. Ji-sun naturally noticed that something was wrong with Wrongly. "Why are you so restless?" "The baby is sick." Lately, things about the baby have distracted him. Chinwan is back and took the baby home. Uncle Chen and the doctor seldom come to see the baby. I'm afraid they have to live at home. You, the nanny, can take 2 days off. Wrongly didn't want to take a vacation at all. What's wrong with being a daddy? I got up 2 or 3 times at night and never slept well. What's the good thing? Then my biological son, I will take care of him willingly. Ji-sun, that's okay. He said casually and then thought about it. Dad, the drunkard's intention is not in the bar. I'll go to the 4th quarter meeting when I have nothing to do. I have a financial bureau to attend to tonight. The bureau formed by Zhang Junlin. Have you guessed all this? Apart from the bureau he organized, why else would you be so active in a drinking bureau? I really can't figure it out. Is it necessary to meet him at home every day? We haven't seen each other for 2 days. Ji Xian felt sad. I am obsessed with babies, and I don't even favor my brother. If I don't be more enthusiastic, I will fall out of favor. Who vowed not to fall out of favor? Born from sorrow and dying from happiness, all emotions must be managed with care, and cannot be squandered unscrupulously just because you have a trump card. Wrongly frowned. Although my Chinese is not very good, is there any necessary connection between the previous and the next text? There's none. Wrongly was speechless. I forgot, your Chinese was taught by Mr. San, who always likes to show off idioms. Please be normal when you talk to Zhang Junlin, lest he think you are illiterate. Ji-sun, you why the personal attack? My pleasure. I've noticed that your bad temper is directed at me. Now you are extremely gentle to Chinwan. Just pretend it's hard and don't reveal your secret. I think Chinwan likes gentle men. Not necessarily. Wrongly sneered. If she likes gentle men, she will like Zhang Junlin and obey his words. Why does she like my brother? Ji-sun sneered. That's worship. I think you are really free. Ji Xian heard his threat and ran faster than a rabbit. He was afraid that Wrongly would leave the work to him. If there was any work, he could leave it to the 3rd master. Anyway, Gu Ci was very busy and Ziyu had no time to talk to him. The 3rd master didn't. If you want to become an empty nester, you can be more fulfilling by working more. Wrongly came back upstairs from work and checked his phone for the nth time. Chinwan hadn't replied to him yet. He usually had a baby and a confinement nanny, and the upstairs was very lively. After so many years since he returned to China, he gradually took Universal as his home. With the baby, his family, he has also become popular. The happiest thing after get off work every day is to tease the baby, shoot short videos for Chinwan, and wait for Chinwan to video. When I came back today, It was empty and there was no sound at all. Lu Ziwen and Ji Xian were both away from Universal. One went to the hospital to find Gu Xi, and the other went to find Zhang Junlin. He was the only one in the two empty floors upstairs. Rong Li suddenly felt a little uncomfortable and missed the babies extraordinarily. At about 6 o'clock in the evening, Rong Li opened the refrigerator. Although the child could not eat anything yet, the refrigerator was full because the confinement nanny was there. Usually the confinement nanny would cook, and he, Ji Xian and Lu Ziwen would have lunch together. There were a lot of ingredients. Rong Li took a few glances, but he didn't have much appetite and didn't want to make anything. He took a pack of instant noodles from the storage cabinet and boiled them casually. As soon as he soaked them, Qin Wan responded to his message. They were having a dinner together, and the table was filled with more than a dozen dishes, including hot dishes, cold dishes, and soups. Although it was a home-cooked dish, it was delicious and delicious. Rong Li suddenly felt that his instant noodles were no longer fragrant. Qin Wan, my baby and I will go back later. When Rong Li saw these words, his heart dropped. Qin Wan didn't change his mind. Just come back. Rong Li happily ate instant noodles, took a bath, put on home clothes, and waited for Qin Wan to bring the baby back. Qin Wan didn't just say that he would come back later. It was already almost 9 o'clock after dinner. By the time Qin Wan packed up her things and came back with the children, it was already 10:30 in the evening. Rong Li went downstairs to pick them up. Qin Wan said, "The confinement sisters have cards, so you don't have to come down to pick them up." "Is the baby sleeping?" "The second baby is asleep, but the big baby is not here yet." Rong Li took the big baby from the hands of his confinement sister-in-law. He was also very well behaved and did not cry. He was playing with the buttons on Rong Li's clothes with one hand. The group of people went back upstairs. The confinement sister-in-law took the child to sleep. Rong Li wanted to talk to Qin Wan, but Qin Wan drove all day and went home for dinner. After running around for a day, she was obviously a little tired. Rong Li said, "You go to bed early. The confinement nanny will take care of the children at night, so you just sleep." Qin Wan actually wanted to have a conversation with Rong Li, but he hadn't seen her for a month, and the child was left to him. Even though they frequently video chatted, it was never as good as a real person right in front of him. She saw that Rong Li's eyes were all green and black. She thought it was because he had been busy with work and taking care of the children recently and hadn't slept well, so she didn't force it. Anyway, she still had vacation and was not in a hurry. "Okay, you should go to bed early, good night." Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 842. Chapter 842 Christmas Gift. Qin Wan was very tired. After washing up, she went to see the babies. Dabao and Erbao were both asleep, so Qin Wan went to sleep with peace of mind. When she passed by the study, she saw that Rong Li was still in a meeting. Black Eagle had a lot of business, and Rong Li was very busy. She was really tired that day and fell asleep quickly. As a front-line agent, Qin Wan had very light sleep and would get up at the slightest disturbance. She heard the cry of her child at night. She opened her eyes in confusion and saw that it was around 4 o'clock in the morning. She got up and went out to see that it was the confinement nurse coaxing the baby. "What's wrong with Dabao?" "Madam, this is Erbao. He has a slight fever and cannot sleep well. Mr. Rong has already called the doctor." The dynasty team was right next door, and the team doctors were all very skilled. Qin Wan looked at the temperature, which was almost 38 degrees. "Do you want to send him to the hospital?" Mr. Rong said to let the doctor take a look first, and then go to the hospital if necessary. "It is normal for the baby to have a fever. If the fever is not serious, you don't need to go to the hospital," said the confinement sister-in-law. Chinwan saw Urbeo crying so much that he hugged her and gently coaxed her. Urbeo's cheeks were red because he had a fever and was crying. Chinwan felt distressed when he saw it. Did you catch a cold when you went out today? Urbeo's health is not as good as that of my elder brother. He has been ill 3 times during this period, all with low fever. Madam, there is no need to worry. The confinement sister-in-law was afraid that she would blame herself, so she could only comfort her. There are many reasons why a baby may have a fever, and it may not necessarily be because he or she caught a cold after being taken outside. Wrongly brought the doctor back. He was originally going to hire a pediatrician for round-the-clock service. There was a doctor in the Dynasty team doctor who majored in pediatrics and also opened a pediatric clinic. The clinic was in the building next door, so wrongly no more pediatricians were hired. The baby's fever was not very high, probably because he was feeling uncomfortable, and he kept crying. Chinwan and Wrongly took turns coaxing him, and after giving him medicine, he was coaxed for more than an hour before he stopped crying. The temperature gradually reached above 38, and the fever did not subside until dawn. After the baby's fever subsides, the condition is less serious. Wrongly is more experienced than Chinwan, and the baby is obviously quieter when being coaxed by Wrongly. It can be seen that Wrongly often coaxes the baby, and Chinwan feels very frustrated. She only thinks about work and her own future, and the child is it too selfish to leave it to Wrongly? She knows that she is not a good mother in the traditional sense, and she is more career-oriented, but the baby was born in her 10th month of pregnancy, and she also likes the baby very much. Can she balance work and be a good mother? Is it too difficult? She couldn't even stay with her baby when she was sick. Although Wrongly was taking care of the child, he also noticed Chinwan's mood. Don't blame yourself, the baby's body resistance is weak, and minor illnesses and pains are common. I usually take them downstairs for a walk. Besides, you take them back home, both in the car and indoors, is well taken care of. It may be that he has not been able to resist well recently. You took good care of them, but I gave them a cold as soon as I came back. Wrongly chuckled, maybe the babies are too happy to see their mothers and want to attract their mother's attention. Chinwan. Is this really comfort? Wrongly also realized that he had said something stupid, and the two looked at each other and smiled. The baby had nothing to do after he fell asleep. Wrongly asked the doctor to rest in the guest room to prevent the baby from recurring fevers. Wrongly and Chinwan did not go to catch up on sleep and stayed with the baby. The twins really have a wonderful telepathy. The second baby had a fever and cried, and the eldest baby also groaned after waking up. The confinement nanny held him and rested in the next room to avoid the infection of the flu. The originally well-behaved baby also made a fuss for several hours. The confinement sister-in-law couldn't even get a good night's sleep. Chinwan rested in the room with Urbeo and fell asleep lying on the bedside. The room was equipped with a constant temperature system and the temperature was suitable. Wrongly was still afraid that she would catch cold, so he put a thin quilt on her. As soon as he put it on, Chinwan woke up. She rubbed her eyes. It was already bright, and she asked confusedly, "You haven't gone to work?" "There's nothing to do in the morning. I'll go down later and have some breakfast together. The baby is still sleeping." Ji-sun and Lu Ziwen didn't go home, so it was just the two of them who had breakfast. Chinwan liked to eat noodles, which was a bowl of seafood noodles for breakfast, while Wrongly was more used to Western breakfast. Chinwan said, "I left the baby to you, am I too selfish?" "Why do you think so?" Chinwan could not swallow his food and said softly, "I was pregnant and gave birth to a child, but it seemed that I had no sense of substance. I always felt that I had just graduated, my mind was not mature yet, and I was not the mother of the child. I left the child to you, and I didn't feel any pressure. I thought that the children would have confinement nannies to take care of them, and there would also be chefs and aunties at home. When they get older, they would have nannies and teachers. You could hire 10 people to take care of them and they would have the best care and the best life. It doesn't seem to make any difference whether I'm here or not, and you won't be very tired. Now that I think about it, my thoughts are too simple. You are not wrong, wrongly said, they are still young, so only the confinement nanny is taking care of them. There is also a doctor at home, and someone will take care of their daily life. When they get older, they will hire a nanny and a teacher. 5 or 8 people can always take good care of one baby. I can't worry about it, so I worry a lot. Are you feeling tired? No, I'm very happy, wrongly said with a chuckle. Babies are a gift from God. Watching them grow up day by day makes me really happy. I am also very grateful to Chinwan for giving birth to them. Chinwan propped up her chin. Why don't I feel this way? Everyone has different feelings, wrongly pointed to the breakfast on the table. You like to eat noodles, I like to eat toast and milk, it's the same thing. Chinwan wanted to say something else, but the baby screamed. Chinwan put down his chopsticks and hurriedly ran to check. Wrongly couldn't laugh or cry. Whoever said he didn't care about the baby was obviously more nervous than anyone else. Wrongly did not disturb the relationship between mother and son, and he also wanted to let Chinwan spend more time with the children. He also specifically told the confinement sisters, try to let her do it by herself. If she is impatient, you can take over. Okay, Mr. Wrong. Urbao's fever subsided quickly and he returned to normal at noon. He was in very good spirits. The more Chinwan watched it, the more he liked it. He made a lot of short videos, but did not show off his children in WeChat moments. Chinwan's circle of friends rarely posts updates, let alone frontal photos of her children. She gave it to Gu Si to show off. Gu Si also knew what was going on and didn't go to Universal to disturb them. Lu Ziwen and Ji Sun didn't go home for the past few days, leaving Rong Li and Chinwan's family alone. In the afternoon, Rong Liu's photographer arrived. Originally, we were going to shoot outdoors. It was a bit cold in December, and the baby's fever had just subsided. Rong Li changed his plan and shot in Universal. There is a small outdoor garden on the top floor, where he can take some outdoor scenes. When Chinwan was changing clothes, she found a velvet box and looked at Rong Li in confusion. Rong Li said, "A Christmas gift for you." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 843. Chapter 843, Since when did you start coveting me? Christmas isn't here yet, it's only the beginning of the month. After you go to the grassroots level, you may not be able to go home for Christmas, so I'll give it to you in advance, Rong Li said. Open it and see if you like it. Chinwan looked at the velvet box and guessed it was jewelry. It was a ring with a blue diamond as the main stone. It was designed in the shape of a camellia. It was exquisite and luxurious. It was a very exaggerated design and not ordinary at all. Wow, so beautiful! Chinwan's eyes lit up. She didn't like jewelry very much. She didn't like necklaces, earrings, or bracelets. She only liked rings. She had a ring collecting habit. She has worn several rings with exaggerated designs. She also prefers rings that can maintain their value, so the main stones of her rings are very large. The ring Rong Li gave her has a blue diamond of about 13 carats. She tried it on and it was her size. Isn't this too expensive? Chinwan liked it, but he felt that it was too expensive to receive no reward for no merit. Rong Li said, I can be considered a rich second generation. Rong Li said seriously, when a daughter-in-law from a wealthy family gives birth to a child, the family will reward her. Chinwan laughed, I like this reward, and I wouldn't mind if you give me more. Rong Li hesitated to speak. Wan lowered his head and looked at the ring. He couldn't put it down and tried it on the spot. I'll wear it as soon as we take a family photo. Actually, I bought a lot. Ring. Wrongly hesitated for a moment, then suddenly took her wrist and led her to the jewelry cabinet in the cloakroom. He opened the middle drawer of the jewelry cabinet, which was filled with more than 20 rings. The designs are all exaggerated, but different. There are butterfly-shaped ones, little fox-shaped ones, and rose-shaped ones. They are all made of very sparkling diamonds and gemstone designs. The main stones are very large. When they are opened, the light overflows. They are very bright under the light of the cloakroom. The light of natural diamonds was so bright that it blinded Wan. Holy shit. This is simply the ring and jewelry cabinet in Wan's dream. The Christmas gift in your hand, this is a New Year's gift, this is your birthday gift, this is a New Year's Eve gift, this is a Lantern Festival gift, this is a baby's 100th day gift, this is a Valentine's Day gift, this is Labor Day gift. Wrongly counted the meanings of the ring in detail. Wan was stunned and blurted out, there are also gifts for Labor Day. Are there any gifts for Qingming Festival? Wrongly chuckled, do you like it? Wan was shocked, is it all mine? Wrongly nodded, yes, I will give them all to you. I thought I would give them away slowly to give you a surprise. Wan secretly thought, this is not what is described in B.A. Zong's novels. You and I have no chance at all, it all depends on me throwing money. Some of these rings were bought at auctions, and most of them were custom made. It would take half a year to prepare them, yet he secretly prepared so many gifts. How do you know I like rings? Wan asked blankly. To outsiders, she liked houses because Zhang Junlin gave her many houses and she rented them out. She never told anyone that she liked rings. Girls all like jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, crowns, etc. All kinds of gemstones and diamonds are the favorites of girls. Wan herself has also worn rings. Her rings are very exaggerated, so exaggerated that very few people would. I think the scary big gemstone on her ring is real. Her college classmates also asked, which brand is your ring? The gems are so realistic and very bright in the sun, and asked Wan to push the link to her. She usually buys the main stone herself and then customizes it privately. Know yourself and your enemy and you will be victorious in any battle. Wrongly did not hide it at all, I have investigated you, everything is detailed. Including when Wan saves a sum of money, she will order gems. After buying the gems, she will ask a designer to design a ring based on the gems. The rings she usually wears are so exaggerated that they look like Dobeo's 200 yuan wallet. They are all genuine diamonds or gems. Wan's face burned as soon as he thought that Wrongli's investigation revealed all his details, as if he had been infected with the flu by a baby. Are you, Black Hawk investigators, so detailed? It's my personal habit. In so many years, Wan was also the first person to investigate the background of someone in person. These rings must have been prepared for a long time. Wan raised his eyebrows and asked jokingly, when did you start coveting me? Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 844. Chapter 844. Are there many boys? Wrongly was stunned for a moment when Wan asked this question unexpectedly. He was stuck for a moment. Wan touched his chin and asked calmly, last Christmas, you came to the cinema on purpose to meet me by chance, right? Wrongly asked instead, is it important? Wan leaned against the cabinet and thought seriously, is it important? It doesn't seem to be very important, but when there is an ambiguous relationship between the sexes, there is always a sense of certainty that he will fall before me. It seems that if I have determined the fact, I will have more advantages and confidence. When they repeatedly confirm their feelings for each other, they always want to look for clues that he likes me more, and no one is immune. It's not important anymore, Chinwan chuckled and said, the results are more important. How the process went, no one is investigating. Without that chance encounter, there would be no subsequent story. The family photo shoot went smoothly, both babies were very cooperative, and the second baby was easy to coax after his fever subsided. Chinwan and Rong Li took many photos of the babies, and also took several sets of family photos, but the two of them preferred taking photos of babies. Photography. When the teacher took the photos, they were just a pair of ordinary parents, also taking photos and recording videos with their mobile phones. The babies are too small to make expressions when taking photos, so photographers need to capture them. The two babies also have good camera skills and took many cute photos. We will shoot again when they can crawl and walk. Chinwan likes the sense of ritual, which is very meaningful. Rong Li felt warm in his heart as he looked at the family photo he had taken. After taking a family photo, Rong Li went to work, but his mind was still absent. When will Chinwan's next vacation? She is going to be transferred to work in the south and has been in the army. How often can she take a vacation? Soldiers have very few holidays. Most military marriages involve a small amount of time together and a lot of separation. They are not considered a marriage, but at most a pair of life partners. Even if he has all kinds of plans to pursue, there is nothing he can do if he can't see anyone. Rong Li sighed. He repeatedly warned himself not to be too greedy. Chinwan has no intention of falling in love, has never loved anyone, and does not want to start a family with anyone. They also have twins. If Chinwan wants to start a family in the future, he will definitely give priority to him. After all, the father is more valuable than the son. That's not necessarily the case. Ji-sun couldn't help but pour cold water on him. Chinwan is open-minded by nature, and he will give you his children, so why does he have to consider starting a family with you? She is in the military zone, and there are so many young and outstanding soldiers. They get along day and night, train together, and go on missions together. They have the same dreams, common goals, and similar family backgrounds. They will be more compatible. Those who are close to the people will get the moon first. It is really normal for her to fall in love with someone one day. If she likes someone else, she wouldn't force her to start a family with you for the sake of her children. Ji-sun's words touched Rong Li's sore spot. The biggest problem between him and Chinwan was not that Chinwan didn't love him. He also knew that his personality was not liked by girls. Ever since he was a child, he had not had any luck with the opposite and had a bad temper. Not easy to get along with either. Over the past year, he tried his best to change himself, soften his temper, and even consciously tried to please Chen Liangdong and North. Do as the Romans do. Any fool knows not to offend his prospective father-in-law and mother-in-law. After having a baby, he gave up smoking. He was very addicted to smoking. He could smoke 1.5 packs a day. For the sake of the baby, he quit smoking. He found all the people who could. He looked for an opportunity to get along with Chinwan, but Chinwan was prejudiced against him first. A person's prejudice may be discussed at first sight, or it may be your words. Prejudice happens in a moment, but it takes a year, or 10 years, or a lifetime for a person to change his prejudice. Time. He has gradually felt that Chinwan's prejudice against him is no longer there. It is not because he is the father of the child. It is the relationship with him in this year that made her change her mind. He is confident that he can make Chinwan fall in love with him. But distance became their killer. Chinwan's job is too special, and he cannot take care of his family or see his superiors. If Chinwan was still studying, they would have plenty of time to cultivate their relationship, but Chinwan has to work and be away for several months or a year. Even if there is a holiday, when she comes home, her focus is always on her children. Is it possible that he really can only rely on his special child-rearing skills to please Chinwan? Will he be willing? No. Wrongly thought, he would not be willing to do so. For the first time in his life, he longed for something so strongly and would never give up until he achieved his goal. He cannot imitate Ji-sun and imprison his sweetheart. That is a negative example. In the evening, the chef cooked a table of delicious dishes, which were mostly heavy flavors that Chin-won liked. In fact, her and Rong Li's tastes were very different. Rong Li didn't like food that was too spicy, and he didn't like food that was too high in calories. Sichuan cuisine was basically it rarely appears on his dinner table, preferring high-protein, low-calorie foods. But he never stopped Chin-won from eating, nor did he compromise himself to accommodate Chin-won's taste. Just like Ji-sun, he would learn to cook the dishes that Jang Junlin liked, but let him eat with Jang Junlin. Ji-sun felt that it was unnecessary. Seeking common ground while reserving differences was not blind accommodation. Chin-won was fed up with the bland food during pregnancy and confinement. Since he was weaning this month, he couldn't eat too much. Now that his body had almost recovered, he could finally eat more. His appetite was twice as much as Rong Li's. Watching her eat makes me feel very satisfied. Is it hard for you to go to training? Rong Li's Wangruo asked casually. It's not bad. The military has been engaged in informatization for the past 2 decades. It will also be a top priority in the future. It is also the command center. We need to be familiar with various processes, communication equipment, network services, and dedicated communication networks. There is no link. Once you understand it, there will be deviations in the work, so you should try to get familiar with it first. In fact, the coordination of various departments is the most troublesome. The grassroots work is more cumbersome and there is a lot to learn. Chin-won is like a sponge now, actively growing. I don't feel tired at all. I am a cross-industry person. I was originally trained as a front-line agent. Now that I am behind the scenes, I feel very different. Are you training a group of young people? Yes, they are all PhDs and graduate students in National Defense Information from University A. Chin-won said with a chuckle, the threshold is very high. Undergraduates were dismissed directly. When Zio just graduated, they made 4 or 5 trips to try to get acquainted with them. My father robbed people, thinking that he was overqualified in the national security and should serve in the army. In your major, there are more boys than girls. Rong Li brought her some food and poured half a glass of wine, as if making small talk. There are only 2 girls, both of them boys. Chin-won couldn't help complaining, they engage in gender discrimination. Unless girls are particularly outstanding, they won't be able to join our department, so they will be transferred to more relaxed departments. 2 girls, Rong Li raised his eyebrows. How many boys? 12. Chin-won was excited. Why do you ask? Let's get to know each other, Rong Li thought to himself. The 12 PhDs and masters from University A, as Ji-sun said, they all have the same goal and the same dream. They are like-minded, young, and well-matched. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 845. Chapter 845. The Strange Rong Li. Chin-won is not a secret department, and his work does not need to be kept secret. It is just that he is too busy and tired during the training. It is a closed training and is not suitable for contact with the outside world. Rong Li recalled that when he was in college, when he was studying for a PhD, there were more men than women. The few girls in the class were the most popular ones, and the slightly prettier girls were all goddesses in the eyes of men. Chin-won is beautiful, capable, has an outstanding family background, and has a rare white face. Those men with a strong desire for protection like the appearance of Chin-won's model the most. She should have no shortage of people to pursue her. Getting along day and night, it is easy to develop feelings. Rong Li felt a little depressed. There is a colleague who is particularly interesting. He was in a doctoral class with Ziu. Zhu was working after graduation while he was still studying for a PhD. He always lamented that Zhu was an alien and envied Zhu's brain. Many people in his doctoral class went to university. He works in a factory and earns more than 2 million yuan a year. He joked that he was lucky to be a rich second generation, so he pursued his dream. If he had been poor, he would have gone to a big factory. Qin said, "He is very interesting and a very kind person." Humorous, Zhu and he are still friends. Li said calmly, "Aren't all Zhu's friends old and young? There are also young guys, okay. How old is he after finishing his PhD degree?" 29, very young, okay. Li chuckled and said, "I finished my PhD program at the age of 29, which is a bit late. I finished my studies at the age of 26. A question seemed to slowly pop up in Qin head. The top professional PhD student from the top university in the country, who had completed his studies in the 29th year, was considered not to be smart enough. "I suspect you are thinking about me." "Li, where do we start talking about this? If I were a straight doctor, I might not be able to finish it at the age of 30. Li raised his eyebrows. "Oh." Qin was very unhappy with this statement. "In our major, master's degree and doctorate degree are 3 years, and it takes 6 years to study. You may not graduate after 3 years for a doctorate degree. My doctorate in business school is a 5-year program, I just read it quickly." Qin paused subtly for a moment, feeling Li's strange aura. Her face was expressionless. Can the quality be guaranteed when reading so fast? "It's not bad." Qin propped up her chin and looked at him calmly. "Are you feeling weird?" "No." Qin is very good at this. If he has a temper, he will never hide it and play a guessing game with you. "You have?" "No, I'll just discuss the matter." Li got a bit of Jisun's true message. "You won't be angry, right?" Qin was a little angry, but the school's global ranking was not as good as others, so he got angry because of connotations, which made him seem a bit stingy. "No, I hope your baby's IQ will be passed on to you. If they fail to get into Harvard, it will be your fault." "Li." Qin temper comes and goes quickly, and he really won't get angry over this matter. Li asked, "What else do you do besides training together?" Qin thought for a while. "The training time is quite long. After the training is over, we will sort out the materials, discuss how to use the communication network more conveniently, and also discuss issues such as network security. I don't have a lot of personal time, but occasionally I will have a little time. Everyone plays badminton, runs, etc. together to relax." Li thought to himself, it was really like getting along day and night. Li felt like he was masochistic. Asking questions was like stabbing himself in the heart. This was too cruel. I remembered that our technology company also provides communication equipment to the military. Is Black Hawk considered a partner of yours? Forget it, Qin said. Network services are provided by third-generation operators, and communication equipment is mainly provided by 4 companies, and Black Hawk is one of them. Qin chuckled and said, "Your communication equipment seems to be working well. Specialized communications in some specific fields are Black Hawk's equipment." Qin actually wanted to tell him some information, but thought it was inappropriate, so he simply didn't mention it. Black Hawk was indeed very competitive and the speed was very high, but the cost was too high. Li was unhappy, and Qin even asked kindly, "Have you eaten so little for dinner? As you get older, stay in shape." Qin. She was sure that Li was indeed acting strangely. The familiar him is back again. Qin thought unhappily, "I didn't mess with him, right?" Moi. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and nose. Chapter 846. Chapter 846. Is this wine intoxicating? Qin Wan originally thought that Rong Li was joking when he said that he had to keep in shape as he got older. Who knew that an hour after dinner, Rong Li was swimming? There are outdoor swimming pools on both floors of the top floor of the Universal, and they are specially designed to be completely outdoor. When swimming, you can see the city night view as soon as you peek your head out. It is beautiful and a very shocking visual enjoyment. Qin Wan also wanted to swim in the water, but she was only a month old. Although she felt strong, she didn't want to be too arrogant in the winter, lest the cold air enter her body. He swims every day. The confinement sister-in-law said, I exercise for 2 hours every other day. The boss is very self-disciplined. Qin Wan asked her confinement sister-in-law to rest first. She opened a bottle of wine and sat by the swimming pool, drinking while admiring Rong Li's swimming. Everyone loved to see her beautiful body. Rong Li is of mixed race, with a slender and strong figure. Compared to Ji Xian, Lu Ziwen has an oriental man's figure. He is more western and stronger. His abdominal muscles and mermaid lines are particularly beautiful. He is also too self-disciplined for his age, and his figure is comparable to that of a male model. Qin Wan touched his chin, inexplicably thinking of Christmas a year ago. Sure enough, there was a reason why she had her head a year ago. Can we try to lure him to drink again? Although Qin Wan does not plan to fall in love with Rong Li and start a family for the time being, she does not reject a casual marriage at all. Is her idea too scumbag? Rong Li knew that Qin Wan was next to the swimming pool. He swam for 30 minutes at a stretch, popped up to rest, and took off his goggles. He had a short haircut, strong facial features, clear facial contours, and a muscular body covered with the watery light seems to have a filter added to it. So lovely. Qin Wan licked her teeth, raised her wine glass and asked, do you want to drink? Green plum wine, the alcohol content is not high. Where did you get the green plum wine? Rong Li said, pour me a glass. Qin Wan poured a glass of green plum wine and added ice cubes. I brought it from my house yesterday. My aunt's family has a winery that specializes in making green plum wine. Rong Li has never drunk green plum wine. When he was abroad, he drank a lot of red wine, and after returning to China, he drank a lot of white wine. Due to his physical constitution, he is not intolerant to alcohol, so he is not an alcoholic. Fruit wine is not considered wine to him. So never touched. When Qin Wan handed over the wine, he smelled a strong smell of plum wine. She was on the ground and he was in the swimming pool. When Qin Wan handed over the wine, he leaned forward slightly, his long hair spread out in the wind, and the smell of green plum wine was in the air. With a fragrance unique to women, Rong Li inexplicably remembered the old saying, everyone will get drunk if he is not drunk with wine. He took a deep breath and backed away restrainedly. Qin Wan said, this green plum wine has been popular for 2 years. The sales volume is very good and the taste is also very good. This year's Double 11 invited 2 anchors to carry the product, and the sales volume ranks first among all fruit wines. Making a good plum wine is not easy. If there is a mistake in one step, the taste will be different. I've seen its advertisement. Rong Li took a look at the bottle and took a sip. The rich fruity aroma exploded on the tip of his tongue. The sweet and sour and fruity aroma were soft together. It had the strongness of sorghum wine and the refreshing sourness of the fruit. Tian, Rong Li raised his eyebrows, yes, it's not bad. I have a few bottles in the refrigerator. If you like it, just let me know. I can just buy it myself. Qin Wan did not hesitate to say, I'll give it to you. The ones sold in the market are products from the assembly line. The ones we drink are specially brewed. There is a difference. The two of them drank a glass of wine with different thoughts. Qin Wan asked, Do you still want to drink? Wrongly asked, is this wine intoxicating? The two looked at each other across the moonlight and water. They were silent for a moment. Qinhuan chuckled and said, it depends on how you drink. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 847. Chapter 847. Do you want to get drunk or wake up? Wrongly lowered his head and chuckled. After putting down the wine glass, he turned around and swam away. Qinhuan let out a long sigh of relief. His heart was beating almost out of control just now. His was charming and inevitable for mortals. She drank 2 glasses of green plum wine in succession, poured another glass for Rong Li, added some ice cubes, and left the swimming pool. The baby was very good at night, and it took him 3 or 4 hours to fall asleep. The confinement sisters also went to rest. Qinhuan sat on the bay window and flipped through family photos. The baby was so cute, which made her feel warm. Rong Li is also very handsome. The 3 fathers and sons were sculpted from the same mold when they were shooting together. Zhang Junlin is right, she participated in loneliness, and the child is nothing like her. Qinhuan lay on her knees, looking at the night, inevitably thinking, is it possible for her and Rong Li? Would she reject spending the rest of her life with one person? Will their family backgrounds create barriers between them? It is very stupid to be depressed about things that have never happened, but there are plans in life, and people are also animals that seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. When making the most important decision in life, they will consider whether it can be done and whether it is worth it. Whether it can be done and whether it is worth it are the benchmarks for many important decisions in life. Emotions, too. She doesn't quite understand. She is a relatively late maturing girl and knows nothing about emotions. Some of the ignorant feelings she had have long since dissipated in the vortex of time. If you don't understand it, don't think about it. Qinhuan didn't want to do anything during her vacation and was used to going to bed late. She went to the audiovisual room and found a movie to watch. There was a private audiovisual room on the top floor. Although it was not as spacious as a cinema, it was still a small cinema. All kinds of popular movies were available. Qinhuan found a horror movie. She didn't like watching horror movies very much, but she really wanted to watch it tonight. She was so addicted to the plot that she didn't know when Rong Li came. A head suddenly appeared in the cinema. Qinhuan was startled and turned around to see Rong Li. Wow, I was scared to death. When did you come in? I watched it for 5 minutes. Rong Li had just taken a shower, with the mint scent of shower gel on his body. If you don't like to watch popcorn movies, why would you watch horror movies? Calm down. The questions and answers were so inconsistent that Rong Li couldn't figure out why she was trying to calm down. This is a pure horror film, with a scary scene every few minutes. The timid ones will have to close their eyes when seeing the scary scenes. Qinhuan is a more daring person and will still be frightened. Rong Li said, the best horror film last year. You have seen it already? No spoilers. Rong Li chuckled, and Qinhuan smelled the green plum wine. Do you like green plum wine? It tastes good. The degree is not high, but the stamina is quite strong. Rong Li was silent. There was another scary scene in the film. Qinhuan hugged the pillow and her heart was beating wildly. The director's language was too strong. Suddenly, she heard Rong Li's voice, do you want me to be drunk, or do you want me to be drunk, awake? One sentence pulled Qinhuan out of the plot, and his heart beat faster. She stared at the screen intently, the blue light of the movie flickering on and off their faces, and the weird music of the horror movie infinitely lengthened the ambiguous atmosphere. Qinhuan said, do you want to get drunk or wake up? A streak of blood flashed across the screen. Qinhuan closed her eyes and suddenly felt a familiar smell of green plum wine. Rong Li's tall figure covered her body and kissed her lips. He just touched her lightly, like a test or a question. Qinwan was startled for a moment, and her breathing suddenly took a few beats. Rong Li noticed that she didn't resist, and bit her lips gently, starting from the test. It turned into plunder. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 848. Chapter 848, It Hurts to Give Up. Qinwan clung to his shoulders, their warm breaths mingling together, and it was hard to tell whose breathing was breathing. They were intoxicated in the long-lost intimacy, and seemed to be trying to make up an ending to the ambiguity. The hot breath and restrained emotions all exploded at this moment. Qinwan pressed her hand against his chest and his heart, and seemed to feel his violent beating, which was the heat source of life. Rong Li thought she was resisting, so he let go of her slightly, and pressed the tip of his nose against hers, trying hard. After calming down the restless fire in their bodies, the weird music of the horror movie on the screen did not interrupt their ambiguity. "Are you drunk?" Qinwan asked. "I want to get drunk." The corners of Rong Li's eyes were slightly red. "Is that okay?" The words were cryptic, but she understood them. She already had children, so who could resist a night of spring supper? Qinwan was already greedy for his body, but she asked in a really embarrassing way, "Is there a condom at home?" Rong Li was silent for a long time. "Wait for me for a few minutes." He stood up and went out. Qinwan touched her lips with her fingertips, and the touching feeling seemed to still be there. Her heart was beating very fast, and some things happened naturally, as if she was expecting it, but also exceeded it. Rong Li has no romantic partners and has never thought about hanging out with anyone at home, so he naturally doesn't prepare anything. There is everything in Universal Building, and there is a convenience store on the first floor. But when he went upstairs, he heard the baby crying and Qinwan and his confinement sister-in-law talking. Rong Li put down his things and came over. "What's wrong?" "Erbao has a fever again." The confinement sister-in-law looked anxious. "The fever is a bit fast, and it is also accompanied by a cough. I am afraid there is some inflammation." This time the fever reached 39. Qinwan kept hugging him and coaxing him. Rong Li said without any distracting thoughts, "Send him to the hospital." "I was just thinking about going to the hospital together when we get back." Gu Si has already contacted the pediatrician, so we can just go there directly. The family took the second baby to the hospital, while a confinement nanny and Dabao stayed at home. Gu Si greeted the doctor who was familiar with the pediatrician and registered for them. After they came over, they went directly to the doctor. The child was tested and a set of X-rays were taken, which confirmed the confinement sister-in-law's guess that the second baby was weak and had bronchopneumonia. Not a simple flu fever. The child was too young and needed to be hospitalized for observation. Rong Li and Qinwan both stayed with her in the hospital. Although the fever was gone after injections, she kept coughing and crying because of the discomfort. The child became uncomfortable and cried, and was difficult to comfort. She needed someone to hold her and coax her. The confinement sister was also very tired from taking care of the child. Qinwan asked her to rest next door while she and Rong Li took care of her. Qinwan took a flight to the south the day after tomorrow, but her child was hospitalized, and she felt very sad. "When I held the second treasure in my arms, I felt extremely distressed." "Don't worry, he will get better." Rong Li was very glad that it was just bronchial pneumonia and no other problems. Erbao was not as good as Dabao because he had had several fevers. After Rong Li became a father, he also I have been to some parent-child groups and I know that some babies are very healthy when they are born, but they will find something wrong after a few months, and some babies will get emergencies. He is quite afraid that the second baby will also have emergencies, so he just asked the doctor to do a full body examination. Fortunately, everything is fine. Normal. Although neither he nor Qin Wan's family had any genetic diseases, he was still afraid of what might happen. I want to postpone going to the south. Qin Wan looked at him worriedly. The child couldn't sleep well and she was also anxious. I'll call and ask when it gets up. It is best not to change the appointment you have made, whether it is in the military or in an ordinary company. They know your resume, and they can easily guess that you are delaying work for your children. In the eyes of your boss, you are just a people who will be distracted by their children. Even if you are Chen Liangdong's daughter, many important tasks will not be assigned to you. It is not easy for you as a girl to develop, so I suggest you not to change your plans for the sake of your children. Wrong Li comparing his feelings, he said, if my secretary had just given birth to a child and was delayed from work because of the child, I would also question whether she was fully committed to her work and would transfer her to a department with less time. This is not a prejudice, it is a normal thought for everyone. Qin Wan didn't understand until tonight that by choosing this path, she gave up her family. She has always been chic and feels that work is important. I didn't understand until this moment. It turns out that giving up will hurt. Moi. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 849. Chapter 849 Qin Wan's decision. After the baby fell asleep, he did not sleep well. He had to be held by someone. Qin Wan and Rong Li took turns holding him to sleep until 6 o'clock in the morning. Very serious. After Gu Ci went to work, she saw the baby in the ward. Qin Wan opened her eyes in confusion. Rong Li was still holding the baby and briefly greeted Gu Ci. Gu Ci and Qin Wan hadn't seen each other for a while. The last time they saw Qin Wan she was in confinement. If she hadn't been a mother, Qin Wan would have made friends with her during these days off. After having a baby, she had a new role and she spent all her time with her child. Is the flight leaving the day after tomorrow? Gu Ci asked. Qin Wan nodded, I'm still worried about Erbao being like this. The baby is fine. He will be fine after a few days of hospitalization and observation. Don't worry too much. Gu Ci had forgotten whether Xiu had ever been sick back then. She was confused at that time and it was all Li Zhang who was worrying about. Maybe the baby was healed before you left. Hope. The two met in the coffee shop on the first floor of the hospital. Gu Ci ordered Qin Wan a cup of espresso coffee to cheer her up. Qin Wan asked, you are usually so busy at work, will Ziyu complain? Ziyu, Gu Ci chuckled, Ziyu is busier than me. Qin Wan couldn't help but laugh. Xiu had been King Wan since he was a child. He doesn't seem to need his parents very much. Xiu has grown up and is sensible. She was very clingy when she was a child. Gu Ci is smart and knows Qin Wan's struggles. The definition of a good mother is not taking care of the baby 24 hours a day. What makes a good mother? Being their role model and pride is also a good mother. Gu Ci said, being the best version of yourself, relaxed, happy, confident, and full of hope for the future is actually the best mother. When your children see you happy, if you are happy, they will be happy too. It is said that mothers are strong, and it is natural for parents to love their children. In fact, don't underestimate the love of children for their parents, they are equal. Qin Wan said softly, I don't doubt whether I can be a good mother. If I choose this job, I am destined not to be too involved in my children's growth. I am not afraid of my children blaming me or complaining about me. But I would feel distressed, hesitate, and consider whether to work nearby. This is amazing. I have never considered changing my dreams or giving up my future for anyone. I held Erbao, listened to his rapid breathing, and looked at him. My face was in pain due to fever, and I was thinking about what I could do for him. I wanted to take care of him when he was sick. If I miss it, I will miss it forever. What about you, Goosey? I asked, you only grow up once. If you miss it, you won't come back again. You can choose to work nearby. Is that the job you want? Chinwan didn't know either and was very confused. Do you have any suggestions? Goosey I didn't dare to give her advice on such an important decision in her life. Xiaoying, other people can't empathize with you. It's futile for you to ask anyone. No matter it's me, my brother, or wrongly, we can't give you any advice. You suggest that you have to find the answer yourself. There are many paths in life, and no matter which one you choose, there will actually be regrets and gains. Chinwan was thoughtful. She had never been so confused when she was pregnant. The chat between Goosey and Chinwan was interrupted when Erbeo woke up. Goosey also went on duty. She had an outpatient clinic today and came to the hospital in advance to see the baby, so it was time to make preparations. When Chinwan held the second treasure, she felt heartbroken but determined. Baby, don't blame Mom. Mom has her own dreams and her own path to walk, and so do you. So, Mom can't give up the future for you. I'll update it today. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 850. Chapter 850 Long Distance Love. Chen Liangdong and North also came to the hospital during the day. Rongli had an urgent meeting and returned to Universal City first. Chinwan was accompanying him. The baby had a cough and his face was always red. Chen Liangdong said, would you like to leave a few days later? I'll say hello to Deputy Lin. It's okay. Let's go on time. The doctor said that the baby's condition is stable. He will be hospitalized for observation for a few days. If he is found early, he will recover quickly. After Chinwan figured it out, he was in a much better mood and teased her with a toy with a sound. Precious. Chen Liangdong and North saw that she was in a good mood, so they stopped trying to persuade her. Because the baby was hospitalized, Chinwan also stayed in the hospital at night. Rongli came over after get off work and said, you will leave tomorrow. Go back to rest and pack your luggage. I don't bring too many things, I just packed them all, it's okay. Chinwan hugged Erbeo and gently coaxed her. The confinement sister-in-law went to have dinner, and Rongli sat beside her, absent-minded. Chinwan said seriously, Rongli, I'm leaving this time and won't come back until the Chinese New Year. The holidays are usually only 1 or 2 days at most, and I can't run back and forth frequently. You have to worry about and take care of the children's daily life. Thank you very much. What, you want to send me a good person card? Rongli's tone was inexplicably angry. This opening statement is usually used to give people good person cards. You are a good person. Chinwan couldn't help but smile. That's strange. This is the first time someone has given me a good person card since I was a kid. He is different from Ji-sun. He has a fierce face, is relaxed in his work, always leaves room for leeway, and rarely gets grudges with others, so he doesn't need a security team. Ji-sun has a kind face, but leaves no escape route when doing things, and is decisive and ruthless, so Black Eagle's hatred value has been stabilized by him. K wrongly considers himself not a good person. If his relatives knew about it and someone actually commented that he was a good person, he would probably be ridiculed for 3 days and 3 nights, just like a star buying a mercenary, a yellow woman selling melons, and bragging about oneself. No matter what others say, I think you are a good person, Chinwan said with a smile. You don't have to thank me. These are my sons. It's natural for me to worry about and take care of them, Rongli said. You, do what you like. Chinwan looked down at Erbeo and remained silent. There was a very special tension between the two of them, and no one took the initiative to speak. Long time. Chinwan said, if you are on a business trip, you can leave the child to my parents to take care of you. New. In fact, if he doesn't go on a business trip, he will also let the children stay at Chen Liangdong's house for a few days to ease their missing. It is not convenient for Chen Liangdong and North to come to Universal to see the babies. Besides the baby, do you have nothing else to say? Wrongly asked straight to the point. Chinwan patted Erbeo's hand and paused slightly, took a deep breath, raised her head and smiled, you can't drink enough, drink less. Wrongli's face darkened, their eyes slightly touched, and Chinwan avoided his gaze. The ambiguity and impulsiveness of that night seemed to be caused by alcohol, just like the chaotic night of Christmas, both of them tacitly hid it in their hearts. She has drawn clear boundaries. Wrongly has never been a persistent person. No matter whether it is physical or verbal behavior, she will no longer behave excessively. He couldn't even wish her a bright future. This sentence sounded like sarcasm. Bon voyage. Thanks. Chinwan stayed with Erbeo in the hospital until 3 hours before boarding the plane. North sent the salute to Universal. Chinwan went back to Universal to say goodbye to Dabeo before boarding the plane to the south. In December in the south, the temperature is suitable and the sun is shining brightly. Chinwan officially took office and worked in the command center, responsible for information communications and security. The entire team was composed of information talents from University. Chinwan was a major as soon as he graduated, so he was relatively conspicuous in the team. When she first came to the training, many people were not convinced by Chinwan, thinking that she was promoted faster than them because of her family background. Chinwan didn't explain either. In fact, Chinwan was from the G-Dao. He performed well in the G-Dao and was the best front-line agent. Performing tasks on the front line, it is easier to accumulate military merit than behind the scenes. If it weren't for the fear that Chinwan would be harmed by others, despite the criticism, she can still go up a level. Explanation is useless, only facts can speak for themselves. She is not considered to have changed careers, but now she has a main job, so let's rely on her ability. She is competent on the front line, and she can still do it behind the scenes. The first 3 days of work are relatively relaxing. This is a place where discipline and qualifications are important. Although Chinwan is a thorn in the side, he is also very disciplined here and lives a very regular life. He gets up early to train before going to work. They don't train like special forces, but they still have to maintain a certain amount of training. Quantity. At the end of December, the new year is coming soon. The department also has 3 days of leave, but Chinwan is a major and the captain of the entire team. The deputy team leader asked for leave early because he was getting married. The team and deputy team cannot take leave at the same time and can only take turns. Chinwan can only stay in the south to celebrate the new year and stay in the team. There is not much to do. He can just focus on training and maintain his daily work. The whole atmosphere is very relaxing. Wrongly originally thought she would be able to come back for the new year, but his hope failed. He was not disappointed. Babies are too young and don't understand anything yet. Regret and loss are only emotions of adults. During the video call with Wrongly at night, he specially held the baby and greeted her. Chinwan shared a dormitory with a girl. She went back to celebrate the new year. She was the only one in the dormitory. The dormitory was very simple and there was nothing superfluous. Chinwan was tanned a little, and she smiled brightly when she was videotaping with the babies. When will they be able to call mom and dad? That's still early, I guess it will be about 1 year old. The confinement sister-in-law said from the side, it's not that early. Some babies are a little over a year old. Our baby is smart and will definitely be able to speak at the age of 1. Parents both think their baby is a genius. I haven't seen the genius gene yet. You can't detect genius genes in just 3 months, right? Ziyu said that he could understand human speech in 5 months. Zi no longer makes drafts when he is bragging. They talked about the baby in a very harmonious manner. Rongli was going on a business trip to Hiken for a few days after the New Year, so he would leave the baby to Chen Liangdong and North would take care of it first. When are you going to Hiken? No 6. Qinwan pursed his lips, which was a coincidence. She went with the army to the island for an exercise on the 7th. This was her first exercise. Even though she had been working behind the scenes, she was very excited. She remembered Black Hawk's office in Hiken, which was only 10 kilometers away from the base. The island's road conditions were good, and it was only 10 kilometers away by car. Come minutes. This is not considered a secret, but it is also inconvenient to tell the public. The exercise is over and I have 1 day of free time. I don't know if I can meet up with them. Qinwan said, bring a few king crabs home for me when the time comes. Good. There is no need for Qinwan to say this. When he goes on business trips, he always brings souvenirs to Chen Liangdong and North. End of this chapter.